things started escalating between the black Israelites and the youth. The youth kept on encountering them, going away and coming back and encountering them again. And each time they came back with larger numbers until where it shows, where the video is, where there's, close to 200 of those young youth out there. And they got into a mob mentality. That's what a lot of other people have described it as. Got to about 200 youth, and the screaming and the hollerings, and the images were the same images that I seen in pictures of youth, young white people surrounding a black youth trying to eat at a counter. The same faces that were on the crowds of those youth at the D.C. was the same faces of the youth that were surrounding the young black woman who was trying to get an education, and the scorns and the scowls that were on the pictures there, and the same pictures of when you see pictures of lynchings, the same faces on the folks that were doing the lynchings. That's what these young people's faces looked like. They were angry. They were... They got to a point where it was scary. The young man who led that was Mr. Sandman. He asked his teacher, "Can I lead this? Can I drown out those people?" And there's always only about 4 of those black Israelites. They never got any larger. They got no smaller. But they never change their rhetoric, And as I sang, I was going to just stand at the side. But I was putting myself in prayer. And at that time, just before I started that song, my prayer was, "God, help me. Witness what's going on here. God, protect us." And there was a group of over 200 young, angry white men who were displaying mob mentality. And they were facing down just 4 black individuals. And it was coming to a point where just a snap of the finger could have caused them kids to descend on those 4 individuals. Some of the things that were said, I just don't want to repeat, but there were comments of "build that wall." And I've heard these comments so many times in my years that I've just gotten to a point where I ignore the words that come at me, the derogatory words, excuse me. And so when we were there and we came face to face with Mr. Sandman, right before that, and when it shows me walking towards the group started spreading apart. And that was the moment when we thought we was going to try to be out of that situation, and I was going to take my people out of that situation. And I seen a higher ground behind them, the Lincoln Memorial. And as I was in the process and he's there, my mind is that I'm in prayer. This is where my thought is, that I'm not thinking of anything else other than staying in prayer and staying with the thought that I want God to come witness in what's happening into my America.
The protester everyone has seen in the video began playing his drum as he waded into the crowd. He locked eyes with me and approached me, coming within inches of my face. He played his drum the entire time he was in my face. I never interacted with this protester. I did not speak to him. I did not make any hand gestures or other aggressive moves. I believe that by remaining motionless and calm, I was helping to diffuse the situation. Your response?
Copycat, because that's the first interview I ever gave. That's the statement I made. There was a little gap that we could exit in, and that's the way we was going. And then when I started walking up there, I wasn't focusing on anybody except taking the youth out of there, the indigenous youth that was with me, out of that situation.
And Nathan Phillips...
And that's when Mr. Sandman stood in front of me and blocked my blocked my path.
That the youth kept chanting, build the wall. Now, this is astounding, given the fact that there was a confrontation that initially began between African-American, a small group of African-Americans and white youths, and then morphed into them confronting you, a Native American, and yet they're chanting, build the wall, as if the build the wall has become basically a catch-all white supremacist term that can be applied to anybody who some folks may feel is a threat to them?
I sure appreciate that that definition of build that wall statement, because that's exactly what I felt when I went in front of that mob and what appeared to be their prey. All that hate and anger transferred to me. It just came to me. And that's what I say is when I realized the situation we had gotten into, and to build that wall, it was just surprised me. When it seems that I was going to not stand by and let this happen, they turned all that anger onto me.
What broke this up is someone calling to the students saying their bus was there. That's what pulled them away?
Well, apparently, but at the same time, when they all exited there in mass, running away, moments after they ran away, a squad of uniformed officers showed up. So, in my mind, well, yes, they could say they're running to the bus, but if you look at it from another angle, they're running from the police.